say that the sun is 93 million miles away. And the closest star is 250,000 times the distance between the Earth and the sun. So you'd have to take 93 million miles and multiply it by 250,000 in order to find out the distance to the nearest star. What a bunch of hogwash. And how do we know this? Oh, it's easy. Parallax measurements. Measure the parallax, the stellar parallax. How do we do that? Well, today is November 27th. So we would pick a star that's any star really, and measure everything you can about it and mark where it is in the sky, and basically you'll get a measurement from the ground to the horizon up to the star. You'll measure the, I don't know how to do it all, but like how many arc seconds. We're gonna make it. So, sorry. And you see what the diameter of the star is in arc seconds. If that's right, if that's the right terminology. But you measure it. And then we wait 6 months. And we go out with our equipment and we repeat that process 6 months from now. So in March or whatever, we'll find that same star and we'll measure the angle to it, and we'll notice 6 months later that relative to the background stars, that star will appear to have moved slightly. So you can take your measurements from 6 months ago and compare them with your measurements today, or I mean, whatever, today and 6 months from now, I'm sorry. And you'll be able to take that angle and make a triangle with it, which is, you have to be very precise, obviously, but that's how they figure out the distance to all the stars and stuff. The problem with stellar parallax is that there's a big assumption being made. Okay, so let's say we did this tonight. I put my telescope on my back porch and we took a bunch of measurements of whatever star. So let's say we did that. Where's the error in my thinking if I am going to plan on measuring parallax? Where's the error in my so-called science? What am I doing wrong? When I'm figuring out, where does that, so we get this triangle, right? Where does that triangle come from? That triangle comes from the assumption that we're orbiting the sun, and 6 months apart from each other, you will be approximately 186 million miles away from where we measure it tonight in 6 months. The problem is that we actually don't orbit the sun, and that's an assumption. So your measurements are bunk. Parallax measurements debunked. measuring equipment, if you have to add, if you have to say that you are measuring this stuff from 186 million miles away 6 months earlier, why are you putting your telescope in the same spot? I'm putting my telescope in the same back porch. So why am I making the assumption that I'm 186 million miles away from where I was 6 months ago? Clearly I'm not. So stellar parallax is no way to measure anything. It relies on the assumption that the Earth is orbiting the sun, which nobody observes. Everybody observes the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. It moves across the sky. It has nothing to do with the Earth rotating or the Earth going around the sun. That's pure assumption. Stellar parallax is garbage.